I carry that motivation and inspiration from him. You know, this is about doing my family proud.
This is Jonathan Agger here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Harlem Eubank here at the first press conference ahead of his fight against Timo Schwarzkopf, live on Channel 5, November 10th at the Brighton Centre. Harlem, how are you doing first of all?
Very well, thank you, very well. Enjoying a boxing build-up in Brighton. It's been a while since I've boxed here, and it's going to be great to bring a big fight back to Brighton.
See, before we get into the fight, my condolences to yourself and your family for the recent loss of your father. I guess this fight has extra importance now.
Thank you, definitely. It's always a big thing for me to make my family proud and make my dad proud, and he was on the darker side of boxing, traveling and fighting in the away corner, and still possessing a lot of talent, but not getting a chance to really thrive in the sport. So I carry that weight with me when I go into the ring. I carry that motivation and inspiration from him. This is about doing my family proud.
When obviously tragic events happen, you often see in boxing the community gets behind everyone. How touched were you with all the messages you received afterwards?
Very, very touched. It's great to know that many people are there to all the messages and messages of condolence and support. It's great to know that so many people are behind you and willing you on, and luckily I have a great support network that I can speak to, and just know that people have got my back. It's great in this boxing community. It's important to know that people have got your back. So
obviously, moving on to the fight, headlining in Brighton, first time you've actually fought in Brighton since your debut all those years ago. It must feel very special to be headlining here.
It does. It feels very different. I've been traveling and fighting on the road so much, since that day when I launched my career, and I've got the learning fights in now. I've got my experience, and I'm ready to bring that back and put on a great performance, in my biggest test yet, in front of the Brighton people.
Well, what will people, do you reckon, be saying about Harlem Eubank after this fight?
I think my name will be on that world scene. This is a fight where I can launch myself into them conversations with some of the top fighters in the division, and that's where I want to be. I want to be in the big domestic clashes and in fights that put me in position for a world title shot.
I mean, you've obviously got a family history of massive domestic fights, and a lot of people obviously, as you know, will talk about Azim and Dalton Smith, but do you think people are sleeping on you within that sort of those two that they're talking about, and you're that guy?
I think I'm already there. I'm number 4 in the division. I think I'm already there, and with these type of fights, I think I can announce myself on the world scene, not only domestically, but be in a position to get a shot to fight, any of the top guys in the division.
And is there, I know obviously your focus is on Schwarzkopf, but is there a name you're thinking about in the future? You'd be like, that'd be a great fight, and bring them over to the Amex?
All the top guys, all the guys at the top of the sport. That's what I'm looking at. And like you say, back to the Amex. I'd love that. That's a dream, to bring a big fight back to the Amex, and take my footballing history full circle in this boxing craft, and give people a big night, a big outing, a big trip to get excited about.
The winner of Prograis Haney got your eye on?
Most definitely, they're the type of fighters that I'm looking at when I'm watching this landscape of the 140-pound division. It's the hottest division in boxing, and there's great fights to be made.
Actually, on Devin Haney, I actually saw you pictured with him in Vegas. What was that experience like? Did you spar, or does he know that you're chasing him down eventually?
I didn't get any sparring with him out there. I was sparring some of the other kids in the gym though. I think he was quite early into camp, so not this time, but maybe next time. And yeah, these guys are at the top, at the pinnacle of the sport, and that's what I got my eyes on.
On Haney-Prograis, how do you see that fight go?
It's a tough fight. Prograis, is very experienced and carries power in both hands and might present some problems. But Haney's obviously the favourite, but I think it's a tougher fight than people think.
And just talking about obviously your cousin, obviously we saw Canelo beat Charlo the other night, and Chris immediately called him out and said he's the guy to beat him. How do you think that fight would play out? How would Chris beat him?
Chris would do what he does best and bring the fight, from the first round. And Chris's mentality, he'll come to fight for the full distance. To stop him from, bringing that fire, you'll have to do something to take him out of there. And when he's on form, when he's approaching a fight, the way he should, with full dedication, I think that would be very hard to do. So I think a fan-friendly matchup, Canelo vs Chris, that would be fireworks. That would be a real firefight. For however long it lasts. That's a big fight right there.
I guess as well, that's the type of name that could bring big-time boxing to the Amex, whether it's you against Prograis or Haney or someone like that, but as well having Chris against a Canelo Alvarez, that definitely sells out the place, right? Most
definitely, and we could fight on the same card. We could have two big fights on the same card at the Amex. That would be beautiful.
Just final one, we saw obviously Fury and Usyk sign their contracts last week. Apparently Fury set to earn over 100 million with the Ngannou fight and things like that. What's your reaction to that and them signing contracts?
On the Usyk matchup, I think it's great. That's the biggest heavyweight fight in the division to make, I think. Two of the guys at the top of the sport. This is the fight we wanted to see. The Ngannou fight is about to have is entertainment, but the real fight that we wanted to see is this one that's been signed. So I'm glad it's been signed, and it's it puts heavyweight boxing back in a good place.
Who wins?
I think it'd be hard to bet against Fury, but let's see.
Harlem, appreciate your time. Obviously, everyone's going to tune in Channel 5 November 10th for your fight against Timo Schwarzkopf. He didn't want to give a prediction. Do you have a prediction for how the fight you think will go?
Harlem Eubank victory and a statement performance. That's what I'm preparing for, and that's what I'm ready to deliver.
Harlem, thanks very much for talking to Pro Boxing Fans.
Nice one.